Here we cover aspects of health and safety, tooling and practical advice on preparing to work with M Stone. Full details can be found in our printed installation guide. There are some important health and safety considerations we'd like to draw your attention to because your personal safety is paramount to us. Do remember though that the ultimate responsibility for your safety and your working environment rests with you. Plan the job thoroughly and make sure you have everything you need before you start. M Stone is not considered hazardous. However, its unique composition means that unlike any other quartz-based material, it can be cut and routed both wet and dry using our specialist installation kit. The dry operations generate dust which contains respirable crystalline silica, which, whilst considered harmful, can easily be kept below the safe exposure limit by following 3 simple but compulsory safety precautions. First, wear safety footwear and a disposable paper overall. Secondly, use impact-resistant safety goggles. Thirdly, and most importantly, use a correctly fitted FFPS respiratory protective face mask. More advice can be found at the HSE website. Look for reference HSG53. In addition, work in a sheltered open area with good ventilation. For example, a garage with the door open or a temporary canopy. Avoid enclosed areas. As we've touched on already, you can process M Stone wet or dry. The HSE prefer machines with water mist suppression, but as the dry approach is likely to be more common, we'll focus on this. Whichever you use, you must have the appropriate extraction. Do not work without it. Silica dust generated must be removed by vacuum extraction methods only and placed in sealed bags. Sludge from the wet process and any washing residue should be removed to lidded containers and disposed of in accordance with local environmental guidelines. It must not be allowed to dry out. M Stone, like granite, is heavy, at just over 50 kilos per metre squared, so please make sure you have adequate manpower with the correct PPE to help you lift and move. Carry the work surface with the short edges vertical, never carry the product flat, and be particularly careful with upstands. Sudden jolts or impacts can result in cracking, so take care when releasing hold of the product. M Stone must be stored above 10 degrees C in a dry, ventilated enclosed area. Products should be kept in the factory packaging, face up and supported by timber battens, placed 100mm from each end and every 900mm. During installation, you can rest M Stone on its long edge for short periods at an angle no more than 20 degrees, but ensure the resting edge is well protected. Do not stand vertically on its short end. Protect the surface with cardboard protective covers. Don't allow tools to lie on unprotected surfaces, particularly from other trades such as tiling. Although M Stone is very hard, it can be scratched, and these are not possible to remove. M Stone should be brought to room temperature of around 18 degrees by storing overnight in the room in which it will be installed. This is particularly important in winter and summer when temperature variation is more extreme. M Stone is a blend of natural quartz stone and resins and, as such, colour variations can occur between components. Take time to ensure that you're happy that they match up colour-wise before you start processing. If necessary, we're happy to arrange replacements provided they're in perfect condition and in their original packaging. A replacement can be dispatched quickly from one of our 28 distribution locations around the UK. M Stone is heavy, so please make sure that there's adequate support for the product. The kitchen furniture layout should be sufficient to support the weight, but in particular, any void walls must be battened to support the surface, especially in diagonal corner solutions. The maximum unsupported span is 1000mm, and this still requires a wall batten. There are some golden rules around the cutouts too. Don't run joints through them. Leave at least 150mm of material from the edge of a cutout to the edge of the work surface. Allow a minimum of 130mm behind a Belfast sink, and allow a minimum of 70mm between sink cutouts. M Stone can be butted up to freestanding or range cookers, but a gap of 8mm should be allowed against heat-retaining appliances such as Argas. An expansion gap of 3 to 4mm should be allowed where the work surface meets a wall. Splashbacks and upstands are a great feature and should generally be placed a minimum of 130mm from any heat source. Always follow appliance manufacturer's guidelines and use a suitably qualified installer for the appliance. You must use BUSHBOARD's M Stone tooling kit. They're specially designed for the job and an integral part of our warranty. Remember, standard tungsten carbide blades and cutters will not work with M Stone, so please don't try to use them. There are 2 kits to help you deliver a first-class fit. The standard kit is for all kitchen designs where no curved corners or undermount sinks are required. It's ideal for simple L shapes with inset sinks, for example. The advanced kit, which is required in addition to the standard kit, is for more detailed installations involving curves, drainer grooves, undermount or Belfast sinks. Installing M Stone requires a craftsmanship approach. The processes are simple, but they are slower than woodworking and require patience. Take your time and allow the tooling to do its work. Forcing the pace is both counterproductive and tiring, whilst running a router at higher rotational speeds simply shortens the life of the cutter. Follow our guidance and you'll achieve excellent results. The M Stone cutters can be used both dry with vacuum extraction and within a wet process. If you're using wet, you must use appropriate machines, power supplies, jigs and health and safety guidelines. Although all of the following suggested tools can be used dry for safety, we recommend 110 volts. The use of a water spray aids the recommended manual final finishing processes. A small palm sander may be used, but care is required and the use of appropriate vacuum extraction and PPE is mandatory. A comprehensive list of suggested tools can be found in our installation guide. Here are the key ones we recommend. We recommend the Festool CleanX CTM range as your vacuum extractor. It provides MAC values of less than 0.1 milligrams per metre squared. For a handheld router, we suggest the Festool OF 1400 EQ Plus, fitted with extraction. It has a 1400 watt power rating. The optimum rotational speed is 10,000 RPM, or setting 1. For a circular plunge cut saw, we recommend a Festool TS55 REQ Plus with a guide rail and a 1200 watt power rating. The optimum recommended rotational speed is 4000 RPM, setting 4. Again, please ensure that it's fitted with appropriate integrated dust extraction. As circular saw blades can last for several kitchens and vary from machine to machine, they're not included in the installation kit. We recommend a TFC type thin turbo diamond saw blade. With careful use, one blade should cut up to 15 to 20 metres in the 25mm thick M Stone material. These blades are available from Black Diamond. Call 01782 415 or log on to blackdiamondinternational.co.uk. Although we strongly recommend using a plunge cut saw, our preferred jigsaw is a Bosch 135 BCE Professional with the pendulum set to 0 and a stroke rate at around 1800 SPM, which is setting 4. There are 2 diamond jigsaw blades supplied in the standard installation kit. One blade should cut up to 3 to 4 metres of M Stone. Remember though, cutting by jigsaw is a far slower process than cutting standard HPL work surfaces. Additional packs of blades can be purchased by calling BUSHBOARD on 01933 232 272. Any good quality 18 volt or 24 volt cordless drill can be used, which may entail manual handheld dust extraction while cutting. Never use the hammer setting with M Stone. A laminate trimmer is used to form a beveled edge profile. We've had good results with the Makita RTO 700C variable speed trimmer with a bottom adjustable guide roller. The optimum recommended rotational speed is 12,000 RPM or setting 2. Again, always use manual handheld dust extraction. The edge beveling cutter is supplied in the standard installation kit. With careful use, a cutter will cut up to 15 to 20 metres. Additional cutters can be purchased by calling BUSHBOARD on 01933 232 272. A simple water spray bottle is useful to dampen hand sanding pads to aid the final edge polishing process. Finally, trestles and a baseboard will be needed to provide the necessary support while cutting and processing. Further details are included in the cutting section in our M Stone installation guide.